So I just got back from CES, the biggest electronics convention of the year, where every company you can think of showed off their newest products, their vision of the future, and some prototypes that are probably never going to see the light of day. I saw absolutely everything there, from AI-powered everything, like AI-powered ovens, washing machines, and hair dryers, to some new stuff from Samsung, Segway's wild new dirt bike with automatic wheelie control, and some crazy stuff that I just didn't expect. I walked the entire showroom floor for 3 full days, and in this video, I'm going to condense all of that down to what I think is the most interesting stuff I saw at CES. So we'll talk about the latest from phones, wearables, audio, and some completely new categories that at least these companies think are going to be the future. So in no particular order, I want to start off with the first one that I was kind of surprised to see, Lego. Like, the company Lego that just makes plastic bricks now is doing some tech. This looks like a regular Lego brick, but it's absolutely not. Lego made a smart brick, and it was actually more well-designed than I expected. This thing has lights on it, it has speakers on it, it has a microphone to identify if you're blowing on it, it has an accelerometer to know when it moves around, it's got proximity sensors to other smart bricks, it can tell if they're pointing at each other, you can detect colors with this thing, and you get 45 minutes per charge on a single brick. So that's like generally what it does, but how it's actually going to be implemented, you basically take this little Lego brick and you put it near a little tag, a little RFID kind of tag, and that will essentially reprogram this little smart brick to be a spaceship or a lightsaber or act like a duck or whatever. And there's so many different things you can do as you move around. It'll make different sounds and interact. And the way Lego described it was the toys kind of interact with children rather than just the children playing with a little Lego. And it's not just for kids. Like, I'm sure plenty of, big kids, adults, are going to enjoy this quite a bit as well. The Star Wars set is the first one coming out. I think it's coming out very soon, but I'm sure they're going to have a ton of other things using this new tech. Personally, I was surprised to see Lego at CES, but it was really impressive. I think this is really, really well done. Next up, we have my personal favorite of all of CES, the item that I'm most excited to use on a daily basis, the Samsung Galaxy Trifold. Even though this was already kind of announced earlier in the year, and I'm so excited to make an entire video just about that. Be sure to subscribe if you want to know my thoughts on it entirely. But basically, I was using the Galaxy Z Fold 7 for a long time until I accidentally broke it. But the phone that, it folds open, you always have a problem of the aspect ratio. You miss out on the top and the bottom. Finally unfolding another time to a full, 10 and 10.5 inch tablet, whatever it ends up being, gives you just an incredible experience. I thought for sure it was going to feel really flimsy. It really didn't. I feel like it wasn't too bulky when I closed it. It wasn't too flimsy when I opened it. The display on the inside was incredible. And there's so many use cases I could think of how you'd actually set this up. For example, you can run Samsung DeX on the inside. So if you open it up and put it on a stand and connect a keyboard, you basically have a small portable laptop now that fits in your pocket. And like I said, so many other things in how you can set up the camera, you can act as its own tripod. There's just so many things I'm excited to do with this. I'll be talking about that in a full dedicated video. Number 3 then, totally shifting gears. I didn't mean to make a pun there, but shifting gears, this is the Segway bike. Segway came out with 3 new bikes. One is kind of their mainstream e-bike. Finally, they're coming out with a mainstream e-bike. It's called the Mayon. I rode it. It's perhaps the most premium e-bike I've ever ridden. It feels very responsive. It's class 3, 80 miles of range, has blinkers on it, a really nice cockpit with a great display, ultra bright headlight, electronic shifting that doesn't shift for you, but you can just hit up and down. It'll shift very smoothly. And it even has optional rear radar to alert you when somebody's passing you or coming up behind you. They say the motor is nominally 500 watts. The peak is 1,500 watts. And with 85 meters, you can actually get the front wheel off the ground when you're pedaling with the highest pedal assist. Then you have the second bike they're launching called the Mushi. It's a cargo e-bike, similar options to the first one, plus regen braking, hill descent control, and a 750 watt motor. And surprisingly, $1699, which is not cheap by any means, but for an e-bike, Segway is usually well into the very expensive range, and I was kind of surprised. This is definitely more affordable than I expected. And then there's the one that I'm very excited about from Segway, the Segway Sabre 300. This is an electric dirt bike built from the ground up, so it's no longer their white-labeled Suron they had last time. And this thing has 3 modes. It's essentially designed to mimic a 150, a 200, or even a 300cc bike. So they kind of designed this to be good for beginners all the way up to experienced riders with features such as optional traction control for beginners, or if you're more of an experienced rider, there's an electronic clutch to give you more of a familiar gas-like experience. There's also a wheelie maximum angle setting, so if you're learning how to wheelie and you don't want to loop out and fall backwards, you can do this and it can help you learn, kind of like training wheels for wheeling. And then we have smart glasses. There were so many different smart glasses everywhere at CES. Some were much better than others. And these right here are from the sponsor of today's video, MemoMind One Glasses. If you've never heard of MemoMind, it's because they're a brand new company. They're actually incubated by Xgimi, like the people who make the projectors, so you might have heard of them. And these are perhaps the only smart glasses that I saw at the show that I would genuinely wear on a daily basis. They feel a little bit like the even realities I had last year, but definitely taken to the next level in many different ways. So they're really hard to film. First of all, I'm doing my best here. I'll show you kind of what they're able to do, but you have a heads-up display in both lenses. It's going to show you like green text and images, whatever, and you can do this either with prescription lenses or just non-magnifying lenses if you don't wear glasses. And they have speakers above the ears as well for feedback from, I don't know, notifications or AI chat, or even if you're just listening to music with these, which you can do. There's an accelerometer in them, so it can detect when you look up to show you the display, and you can also like move your head around to navigate through the interface in a pretty intuitive way, in my opinion. There's a button on the right side. These are also very customizable with 3 different frame shapes, round, square, and round square, 6 different colors and different materials as well. And then for what's actually shown on the glasses, you've got a dashboard that shows you notifications and stocks and, you know, the time and stuff like that. And then there's different little applications you can run through. So AI translation, pretty much in real time with 26 different languages. You've got navigation to show you your next turn. And then you have AI teleprompter, which, get this, I was thinking like, why would it be an AI teleprompter? It's just a teleprompter. No, it actually listens to you as you speak, and it'll scroll as you read through things. So you don't have to set the pace and then have it go. And like, if you've ever used a teleprompter, it's really difficult to get the speed exactly right. So this, you don't have to worry about that. You can speak at a natural pace and go faster or slower throughout different parts of your speech, and it will just automatically adjust as you read. There's also music playback with lyrics. I don't know, possibly for karaoke, could be kind of fun. You can chat with AI, of course, and you get notifications that seem like a little bit 3D. So you're able to adjust like the time and all your stuff to show up further or closer, because like you have 2 different lenses, so you can make it look like you're focusing further away if that's more comfortable. And it makes it look like the notifications are just a little bit closer to you. You can also move things like up, down, wherever you want this to show up on your glasses. So again, a little bit more customizable. So pretty much anyone could use these. So those are the MemoMind One. They're expected to launch on Kickstarter next month, and I'll have a link down below so you guys can learn more about them. Oh yeah, and they have a 16-hour battery life and a recharging case that Xgimi claims can last up to a week. All right, moving along with other things I saw at CES. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet in the video, but I mean, robots were without a doubt the theme of CES. So many humanoid robots absolutely everywhere. Robots were dancing, they were playing ping pong, which was really impressive, by the way, but they even had like a little boxing ring where you could get in and fight some robots, which, I mean, training robots to fight people, a little bit scary, to be honest, but it was, I don't know, just robots were everywhere. Some of it was really impressive. Like, I think the movement was really good. The like hands are getting so much better on robots now. They're able to like pick things up and be a little bit more articulate. And that's something that, you know, was a big struggle even just a couple years ago. At the same time, though, I couldn't help but think a lot of these looked like very curated prototypes that were just really well programmed to do one thing, or maybe even had somebody with a remote control in the other room. Like, I don't know, but I think at the same time, it clearly is something that a lot of companies are putting a lot of effort into, and they think it's going to be the future. Whether they're going to be in factories or in your home, I'm not entirely sure, but it's interesting. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about humanoid robots, and like, would you use one to, I don't know, like vacuum your house or something? Like, I mean, the benefit is that it could vacuum everywhere like a human would, but at the same time, that kind of brings me into the next topic, which is robot vacuums. I saw a ton of them at the show, and every year there's like one big thing that all the robot vacuum companies tried to kind of seem like they all have the same idea usually. Last year, they were all trying to like pick things up. This year, it was climbing steps. So apparently these robots can now go and like climb steps. There was different ways they did it. The one that I saw was from Dreamy, and it had like little tank tracks kind of that would like go and walk up the steps. Could be cool, could be really useful. I mean, a lot of houses have 2 floors and you don't want to have to buy 2 vacuums. But, and I always thought this was really interesting, robot vacuums have been around for, I don't know, 20 years or so now, and they're still, like, they're good, but at the same time, robot lawnmowers have been around significantly less, and they seem to have made so much progress in the past couple of years. So there were a lot of robot mowers on the floor that I saw, and they're, like, this year, they're all able to handle crazy, crazy terrain. So Mammotion came out with the Luba 3. If you haven't seen, I talked about the Luba 2 a couple years ago, the Luba Mini last year. The Luba 3 now climbs absolutely insane hills, up to an 80% slope with better navigation thanks to LiDAR in there. And then Navimo, also from Segway Navimo, same company, they have the X4, which handles up to 84% slopes. Like, this thing drives up absolute cliffs, and it does a really good job. Obviously, if it's like muddy or like there's different conditions that'll affect it, but still, climbing steep hills has been a big challenge for a lot of robots. They both also cover like 1.5 acres, so pretty large amount of space. And again, LiDAR and vision seems to improve them, so I'm excited to see them later this year and really test them out. But another one is Yarbo. Yarbo is coming out with their new M series, which I think is supposed to be smaller and more affordable, but they also have like a ton of other attachments. It can mow with actual lawnmower blades, for example, instead of these little razor blades. You can collect grass clippings, and you even have like this little trimmer thing that can go on the side that acts like a weed whacker to basically make sure that you never have to go out and weed whack after your robot mower. So a few more things to talk about. One of them, I walked around the kind of tractor area, and there was a lot of actually really interesting tech here. So a lot of companies were trying to have like autonomous tractors and machines. So Kubota had some that, like, one of them was just a regular M series tractor that was rigged up with some sensors on there. And so I feel like that's actually pretty realistic and could definitely do a lot pretty soon. And then they also had, like, Bobcat and Kubota both had this basically skid steer that was supposed to look supposed to be autonomous. It looked like a RoboCop kind of futuristic thing. I think it was just a prototype, but it was cool to see that's the direction that these like very manual machine companies are moving to get things that, whether it's for mining, whether it's for excavating large like areas, things that might become more repetitive and there's not a huge danger around them. So if you don't have a lot of people, then that could be really great. Or if it was a place that could potentially be more dangerous and you don't want an operator to get hurt, you could potentially send one of these in. So it's cool that that's starting to exist and is getting better. John Deere talked about that last year with a lot of their automated stuff, but this year they talked about their combine and how it communicates with the wagon. So again, kind of AI and cameras and just communication and bringing this tech that you see in a lot of other products into the farming space that I think is really cool to see that. Then I wandered through the health tech space. There was a lot of cool new stuff, some things I've heard about, some things I've never tried but got to try there. And the big one I saw this year is a lot of companies are trying to really push blood testing. That's a really big one. Kind of like, I mean, a lot of people go to like Quest or other companies to do blood testing. They're trying to tie it all in. So like Whoop and Ultra Human have really been pushing this for a little while. But also urine testing is getting really big now too, where a lot of these companies like Withings, for example, are offering their like little toilet things. It's like a little strip you put in there and like, I guess you pee on it and then they can tell a lot about your health. Interesting. I don't know if I will personally be doing it, but it's something that does exist. I also tried this cool little thing called Pulsetto. It goes around your neck. It's supposed to stimulate your vagus nerve to help you relax and de-stress. And over several weeks, apparently, it should help to increase your heart rate variability and overall reduce your stress. I would love to try one and see like if it actually works over a long term. But after using it for a few minutes, I think I had it on for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. It felt kind of like a TENS unit or like a little stim if you've ever had that on like a muscle, for example. And like it kind of makes your muscles in your neck like vibrate a little bit or move kind of quickly. And it kind of felt good overall, to be honest. Like it felt a little bit relaxing. Who knows? Maybe it's a gimmick. Maybe it actually works. I would love to try one long term and see what it's actually like. And then last but not least, in health tech, everyone is trying to track calories and everyone's trying to do it with cameras. So Garmin came out with their calorie tracking in their app. I believe it's unfortunately behind their paywall, but nonetheless, it's cool that you're able to track that within the Garmin app. And they also have like a camera function on there. And like I said, a lot of other companies are doing this too, where you can take a picture of your meal and it will identify it. This all feels very early on. And if you remember the Humane AI pin, they kind of have an issue with that where it's not going to be able to really identify the portion. But nonetheless, it's better than nothing if you're at a restaurant and you just like take a picture and it's like, all right, I see fried chicken. This is like the general proportion of protein to fat and whatever. And then you just kind of manually choose what your portions actually were for your meal. So cool that that exists, and I'm excited to test that out and really see how it integrates with Garmin's data. But those are my thoughts on what I saw at CES. AI in absolutely everything, things that maybe don't need AI, and also a lot of really cool hardware that I'm excited to try in 2026. So let me know which products you're most excited about, and again, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that Samsung Galaxy trifold video. I'm so excited to talk about that. I'll see you in that video.